Welcome back to another video, guys. In today's episode, we're gonna do a full overview of my 2000 BMW M5. This car is officially for sale now, so I thought it was fitting to do a full video on it and go overview. Anybody that has questions or anybody that has concerns about this car will be able to see the car in full effect and see everything that's going on with it. We've done these videos on a few of the M5s in the past. These videos tend to get kind of scattered around with the stuff and the information, so I will try to format this best as possible. But other than that, a quick brief overview. It is year 2000, M5 of course, S62 6-speed. It's in titanium silver. It has full leather heritage interior, Alcantara package with the headliner. With the leather package, it is leather dash, leather door cards. Everything is leather. This car is currently on some coilovers and some aftermarket parts, but other than that, it's pretty much stock. It's had some great upgrades done to it that hold its value and keep this car in basically the pure form. Nothing crazy, nothing that kind of takes away from the car. All benefits that just add to it. It's more of an OEM plus car, but this car is insanely high mileage at 340,000. It was dealer maintained up until 320,000 miles. It was owned by someone that had a shop basically surrounding S62s and a kind of a part out business, but he had a bunch of S62 cars, S62 engine swap cars, even a boosted S62, I believe 8 series, something like that, either 6 series or 8 series. They had a bunch of cars with a bunch of S62s in it, and this was one of his personal ones. He rebuilt this car, did the timing chains, did the rod bearings, did all the gaskets and seals in the engine bay. Car does not leak or drop. Everything in the engine bay is shiny and silver. You can definitely tell this car was meticulously cared for and maintained. It wouldn't have hit this mileage if it wasn't. With that being said, this car does come with a few of its problems. There's nothing major, there's nothing crazy. Car runs and drives perfectly as is. Has some cosmetic issues. Interior is kind of in some poor condition, but it is heritage interior. They're known for wearing. They're known for basically tearing apart after a certain amount of years and mileage. And unfortunately, this is one of those examples. As far as the aftermarket parts go, everything is pretty much OEM from looking at it car and at a standpoint. But coming over here on the front, we have Stop Tech 6-piston brakes, which look beautiful and are a very high quality piece. I believe the kit is like $6,000 before taxes and install. The wheels have been refinished, but they all literally look perfect. This finish is almost OEM and almost perfect. Hold on. Now that the ricer is out of the way, these wheels are almost in perfect condition. They are missing the M sticker, but that's not really a problem. It's kind of dirty. I try to clean it up a little bit, but it's so dusty and windy. Everything just gets so dirty quick. I don't see any of the curbing marks. They might not even be curbed, honestly. It's been a minute since I've seen them, but they all look perfect. Tires could be refreshed. Other than the Stop Tech big brake kit, there's really not much going on aftermarket wise. We do have the 6-piston brakes, E60 short shifter and bushings. Coming to the rear, we do have dine-in mufflers. I am trying to keep these for myself, just FYI. So if someone is willing to take a little bit off of the price, do me a favor, do you a favor. I would love to keep these exhausts for my Avis car. I can either give it to you with no mufflers, as ghetto as that sounds, or I can cut the mufflers off of my Avis car and give you stock mufflers. Whatever, maybe something we could work out. Something I forgot to mention, but probably noticed, this car is a 2000, so it has been facelifted to the facelift rear taillights and the facelift headlights. Both are OEM, both are in perfect condition. They look beautiful and they look amazing. Fresh OEM, as clear as could be. They absolutely look great and benefit the car. There's really not much aftermarket going on right now with the car. It's on coilovers. I believe Megan Racing. It's honestly been a while since I've had anything to do with this car, so I'm kind of forgetting what's here. It does have an aftermarket carbon steering wheel that I am not a fan of. I was going to swap that out, but I believe I only have the pre-facelift steering wheel. It does have the E60 short shifter we mentioned with an aftermarket knob, OEM, basically everywhere else. This interior is not in the best condition. We have the rip right here and a little rip right here. But other than that, they're not completely tearing apart, I guess. I've had worse. Door panels have seen better days. These just don't age very well. They start peeling back up here, and they just get scratched up a ton. Every single car I've had with Heritage interior has been absolutely in terrible condition. This is basically average. This is pretty much what you'll see in all of them that aren't low mileage. Even some of the low mileage cars, you'll get exactly what you're seeing here. Typical E39 fashion. The cluster, the pixels are basically unreadable. Coming over here, same thing happened with this radio. You can see that the screen has some burn marks. It's just too hot out here for these cars. These cars haven't held up perfectly over the time, and with the heat, it basically destroys half of the things in them. So that screen has seen better days, but most people go aftermarket anyways. Coming over here with the trim, we have technical graphite trim that's actually E39 M5 trim. It's in pretty good condition. I believe the tabs or the dash, I can't remember at this moment. Something's broken or something's missing, so it doesn't hold as tight as it should be. We do have the little cup holder delete with the technical graphite trim. Over here on the passenger side, passenger seat is in much better condition, all in working order, no seat twist. Trim is in beautiful condition. Door panel has seen way better days. Surprisingly, this mirror is in absolutely perfect condition, which is great because that's like $500–600 used. The headliner, no sag anywhere, looks absolutely perfect. These pillars look perfect. I just realized we're missing that clip, but I know I have one at home that will be replaced. The dash is actually in great condition. There's no signs of wear or tear on this. Only thing right here is this has started sagging. You can just pull this back literally like that, glue it, and then re-stretch it back on, either with a heat gun or just letting it be, and it will be basically back to perfect. Another thing, these door sills, you know, they all wear and tear. It has a little rubber strip that basically goes and glues onto that. It just tears right off. This car has basically all the typical E39 problems, but they're all very easily fixable. You just have to take the time and source whatever you want. I know these are quite expensive. It's pretty dirty. I think I forgot to clean that one. These are pretty expensive. That's why most people don't replace them. So I've done whatever, basically whatever you can is just rip off the weather stripping and just leave the plastic. So it doesn't look terrible, but the people that are OEM and all about it, it is missing, or it is not in the perfect condition. As you can see, the rear seats definitely need to be cleaned up, or could be cleaned up with some leather or some re-dyeing. I'm sure these seats would look 10 times better if you do re-dye them, but it is just, again, very typical Heritage wear. One thing I did forget to mention is that this driver's seat, and it's only the driver's seat, one of these rips, I'm assuming the one in here or something under it, will blow a fuse if you decide to move it. Same thing with the steering wheel column. I believe it's on the same fuse. I bought an Amazon fuse that has the little circuit thing. You just reset it. It's kind of annoying, but you really won't be moving the seat too much. You basically just put it in your position and be good. So I have the little fuse, resets it so you don't blow one every single time. I know, annoying, but it is a problem that needs to be addressed and something that's mentioned. So other than the few very typical E39 problems with the cluster pixels, the screen pixels, the interior has some poor wear, and the hood latch cable, unfortunately, I did replace that. I got one from the junkyard, and it was in perfect condition, and I replaced it. And then I think the one piece that I didn't replace broke off, and I've just been using vice grips to open it. That is something that needs to be addressed. I might possibly do it before the car is sold, depending how long it takes, or depending on whoever buys this car. If that's really a deal breaker, I can go ahead and swap that out and get that fixed. So other than those few little issues, it does have that tiny misfire issue when you start it up and the revs bump up and then it died down, hits like 1,000, misfires, and then goes to idle. Other than that, it literally runs and drives perfect. It idles perfectly. There's no other mechanical issues. It does that little weird thing, which I believe, and what I've been told, is it's the start of the Vano seal, but I know they sell a rebuild kit for about $300, and it rebuilds the entire Vanos, all the seals, O-rings, everything you could want. It's like 300 bucks. You just need either the knowledge or a shop that you trust to do it. But other than that, it's literally a problem that affects nothing but that little startup. Other than that, it doesn't do anything. There's no problems. It doesn't affect drivability. Yes, it's annoying. Yes, it's unfortunate. Yes, it's kind of a pain in the ass of a job. But if you have the knowledge, or you want to learn yourself, or you have a shop that can do it, it'll be a relatively easy fix, assuming that's what it is. And that's worst case scenario. You know, it could be, these cars do a lot of weird stuff. It could be a camshaft, could be anything else. Coming to the engine bay, you can visually see that everything is pretty shiny and silver. This car was gone through about 20 to 40,000 miles ago, so it's not perfect, and it is dusty because of the climate I live in. But you can just look at this car visually and see that it is way better than all of the other mileage M5s that are like 150 plus. Everything is shiny and silver. Everything is in perfect condition. You can see right here from the valve cover, it's not dripping oil like all of the other ones are. You can see where there has been some residue of either me spilling it, or I guess it coming out possibly from the cap. But on my Avis car, it only has 190K, and driving it, this will literally just drip down with oil. So this car is in very good condition compared to most cars half of the mileage, or most cars just in general. It's not the prettiest. It definitely needs to be cleaned up, but this is the raw, uncut version of the car. Nothing to hide here, nothing to try to make look better. If it's not too hot, let me open this up. That the chains are nice and looking fresh. If you look at the other ones, they're all gold and brown and dirty. This one is pretty shiny and nice. Had a friend come look at this car, and he was extremely surprised on how clean the chains look versus all the other cars that he's worked on and done with. So that's about it. Let me start it up and we can see the issue firsthand. I forgot to mention around the mufflers and I believe the resonator, the car has a few exhaust leaks because this car has like 6 different versions of an exhaust and like some clamped on. So whoever had it last did some janky work, and that's just something that I'm pointing out. The exhaust pretty much sounds like dookie because of the little exhaust leaks. So, hey, if you let me take the mufflers out, it'll probably make it sound even better. This car did have I think it had a very nice exhaust on it at one point, and it sounded amazing. But this was a California car and didn't meet smog or wasn't even legal. So I believe someone just did whatever they can to patch it back and get it running good, or sounding good, so they could pass smog and inspection, and that's how it got janky. Besides the few random typical E39 issues, this car actually runs and drives great and perfect. It has full power. I drove this car 10 hours home from Sacramento to Vegas. You can see these are the lights on the dash. I just did the brake flush, and I believe the sensor either is kind of corroded or the plug-in is, so the brake light is now on, but I think I should have another sensor in the garage. But typical, really cannot see anything on here. It is kind of unfortunate, but it is a pretty cheap repair as long as you're willing to send it out. Parking brake is on, and once I plug in my seatbelt, airbag light does go away. This is how the screen looks when the car is on, but it is all in working order, and actually it's there, it's working, but it's not perfect. We're back home. If you can't tell by all the junk in my garage, junk number 1, junk number 2, mild junk number 3. This is an overall great car that runs and drives fantastic. It does need a little bit of work, but you will be getting a great car with a ton of maintenance at a fraction of the price of some other ones, or some other cars that have some questionable maintenance and have, just the same problems, if not worse. This car I will be asking 12.5. So if you guys are interested, let me know, comment below, send me a DM on Instagram, and we could figure something out. Again, I am willing to keep some parts off of this car, keep some stuff for myself. So that will bring the price down if you guys are interested in that. If not, 12,500 as is. And you could take this beautiful legendary car home and get it off my hands where I can't do anything with it. Unfortunately, keeping this car, it has just sat here and not been driven, and this is not the way these cars are meant to be held. So someone please take this off my hands, drive it, own it, love it, use it for what it's intended for. So let me know down below, guys. I appreciate you have watched this video. Thank you guys for tuning in. We'll get back to you with some more videos. But other than that, like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know if you guys have any thoughts, questions, or concerns, or if you are interested, let me know. Other than that, later, guys. I'm gonna get out of here, and I appreciate you. Later, guys.